The aperture was mysterious and unusual. Although it was located inside Fang Yuan's body, it didn't share the same space as his internal organs. One could say it was endlessly vast, yet at the same time, infinitely small. Some call it the Purple Prefecture, others call it the Chinese Pool. However, many know it as the Primeval Sea Aperture. The entire body was spherical, and its surface was covered in a flowing white light, like a thin layer of light coating. It was the layer of light from the Hope Gu that had exploded earlier. This thin membrane of light supported the aperture so it wouldn't collapse, and inside the aperture was, naturally, the primeval sea. The seawater was smooth like a mirror, displaying a bluish-green color, yet the water was dense and had a coppery sheen. Only rank 1 Gu masters can form this green coppery primeval essence, known as the green copper sea. The height of the sea's surface didn't reach half of the aperture. It was only at 44%. This was the limitation of a grade C talent. Every drop of seawater was pure primeval essence, representing the condensation of Fang Yuan's essence, vitality, and soul. It was also the accumulation of his life potential over the past 15 years. This primeval essence is used by Gu masters to raise Gu. This also meant that from now on, Fang Yuan had formally entered the path of a rank 1 Gu master. Since the aperture had opened, no more Hope Gu entered Fang Yuan's body. Fang Yuan collected himself and felt that the pressure before him was as thick as a wall. He could no longer take another step forward. Just like in my previous life, he smiled with indifference at the result. "You can't go any further," the academy elder shouted from across the river, clinging to a thin thread of hope. Fang Yuan turned around and walked back, answering with his actions. At that moment, even the young teenagers began to react. The crowd suddenly buzzed with chatter. What? Fang Yuan walked 27 steps? So he was just a grade C talent? Unbelievable. Only a grade C for a genius like him? A great commotion erupted from the crowd. Big brother. Among them, Gu Yue Fang Zheng looked up, watching in shock as Fang Yuan returned across the river. He couldn't dare to believe it. His own brother was only a grade C. He had always thought that his older brother would be a greater talent. Not just him, even his aunt, uncle, and so many people in the clan had thought the same. But now, the result was unexpectedly the opposite. Damn, he was only a grade C. The Gu Yue clan head clenched both his fists, taking a deep breath, his voice filled with disappointment. The elders watching from the darkness had mixed reactions. Some were frowning, some lowering their heads in discussion, others sighing. Could the results be wrong? How can that be? This method is accurate beyond reason, not to mention we were watching the entire time. Cheating is hard. But what about all his previous actions and intelligence? How do you explain those? Youths with a higher quality of primeval C will indeed display characteristics that surpass the ordinary person, such as intelligence, perception, memory, strength, agility, and so on. However, these characteristics don't necessarily mean the primordial talent is high. Everything is still determined by the results. Sigh, the bigger your hopes, the bigger the disappointment. The current generation of the Gu Yue clan is no longer like the first generation. His socks were soaked with the icy cold river water, the coldness piercing his bones. Fang Yuan walked with the same emotionless face, getting closer and closer to the crowd. He could clearly see the academy elder's heavy expression and was aware of the stares from over 100 youths. These glares were a mix of amazement, shock, sneering, some taking pleasure in the unfortunate event, and some were indifferent. The situation was the same, making Fang Yuan unwillingly remember his previous life. Back then, he felt as if the sky had fallen. When he crossed the cold river, he lost his footing and fell, soaking his entire body in the water, feeling so lost. No one came forward to help him up. Those disappointed, cold expressions and gazes were like sharp knives, piercing into his very heart. His mind was in chaos, his chest searing with pain. It was as if he had fallen from the clouds down to the ground. The higher you stand, the harder you fall. But in this life, as the same scene replayed itself, Fang Yuan's heart was calm. He thought of the legend, "When aprietos come, give your heart to hope." And today, that hope was inside him. Even if it wasn't a lot, it was better than those people who had absolutely no primeval talent. If others feel disappointed, then let them be disappointed. What else can they do? What does other people's disappointment have to do with me? The most important thing is to carry hope in my heart. 500 years of living had led him to understand that the interesting things in a person's life happen during the process of chasing their own dreams. There is no need to ask others around you not to be disappointed or to make them like it. Walk on your own path, and let others be disappointed and unhappy however they please. Sigh. The academy elder let out a deep breath and shouted, "Next, Gu Yue Fang Zheng." But there was no answer. "Gu Yue Fang Zheng." The elder yelled again, the sound of his voice reverberating inside the cave. "Ah, I'm here, I'm here." Fang Zheng snapped out of his shock and hurriedly ran out. Unfortunately, he tripped over his own foot and fell, hitting his head with a groan and tumbling into the river. Instantly, the entire cave was filled with huge laughter. The Fang brothers, nothing special, the Gu Yue clan head scoffed, feeling a sort of annoyed boredom towards Fang Zheng. This is such a huge embarrassment. Fang Zheng struggled and splashed in the water. The bottom of the river was just too slippery, he couldn't get up properly. Trying his best only made him look more stupid and clumsy. His heart became increasingly flustered as the sounds of laughter filled his ears. But right at this moment, he suddenly felt a strong pull lifting him up. His head finally left the water's surface, and his body found balance again. He wiped his face in a panic and focused his sight. It was actually his older brother, Fang Yuan, who had grabbed his collar and pulled him up. "Big brother." He opened his mouth to speak. But instead, he started choking on water, ending up with a violent cough. Ha ha, the difficult older and younger brother of the Fang family. Someone laughed on the riverbank. The laughter grew louder, yet the academy elder didn't come out and stop it. He was deeply frowning, his heart filled with disappointment. Fang Zheng was completely at a loss for what to do, and then he heard his brother say to him, "Go on. The road to the future will be interesting." Fang Zheng couldn't help but open his mouth in surprise. Fang Yuan's back was facing the crowd so they couldn't see properly, but Fang Zheng could clearly feel the calmness radiating from Fang Yuan. As his older brother spoke, the corners of his mouth were slightly raised, revealing a deep and thoughtful smile. He was obviously only a grade C talent, yet how could Big Brother be so calm? Fang Zheng couldn't help but wonder, his heart full of doubt. Yet Fang Yuan didn't say any more. He patted Fang Zheng on the back, turned, and walked away. Fang Zheng wore a stupefied expression as he walked towards the sea of flowers. "I never thought Big Brother would actually be so calm. If it were me, I'd..." He lowered his head, walking forward absent-mindedly. Yet he didn't know that he was playing out a miraculous scene. When he finally snapped out of his reverie, he was already deep in the sea of flowers, standing at a distance no one else had reached before him. 43 steps. Oh my God, a grade A talent! The academy elder screamed, seeming to have lost his mind. A grade A? Really a grade A? It's been 3 years. A grade A talented genius has finally appeared in the Gu Yue clan. The clan elders watching in the darkness were also screaming out at the same time, losing their composure. Well, the Fang bloodline originated from our Qi bloodline. So we, the Qi family, will adopt this Gu Yue Fang Zheng, Gu Yue Qi Lian immediately announced. How is that possible? You old bag Qi Lian, your morals and abilities are out of order, but you're definitely good at misleading young boys. It's better to pass this kid to me, Gu Yue Mo Chen, to raise. Gu Yue Mo Chen roared back instantly. Stop arguing. No one is more qualified to raise this child than the current clan leader. Whoever has any objections is to go against me, Gu Yue Bo. The Gu Yue clan head had gone crazy and swept his fiery red gaze over the disappointed and discouraged looks.